Welcome back, Commander, to one of the most forgettable levels for me.
Waiting order. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Waiting order.
Like, I don't remember ever beating this level, which, I guess to be fair, is probably going to be something I say a couple times.
Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. At once. Yes. Knowledge. Yes, sir. Knowledge.
Construction.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Reporting. Very well. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, very well.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
Construction
Ready.
complete.
Yes, sir.
Unit
Yes,
lost.
sir. Affirmative. Vehicle. Knowledge. Yes, sir. Knowledge.
The base is under attack. Cannot deploy again.
Very good, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vehicle. Affirmative.
Construction option.
Vehicle. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Waiting order. Affirmative. Waiting order. Vehicle. Knowledge. Reporting. Agreed. Agreed.
So, first things first, the mission's called Trapped, and every mission should have its own proper name, as opposed to like what the campaigns had, which they don't ever really specifically mention names. You kind of have to go looking for them. This mission being Trapped, and the briefing basically stating that
Lost.
the Soviet nuclear capability at the moment seems to be hauled up in their base in this area.
Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Obviously, that means that we need to attempt to blockade their passage and hopefully deactivate whatever nuclear capabilities they have.
Construction option.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, that's always easier said than done.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
I feel like this mission, and to be fair, a few others,
Yes, sir.
have a kind of mean streak about them.
Yes, sir.
I believe I've mentioned it at least once before, where
Affirmative.
depending on the mission, there's a bunch of triggers on the map, and we've seen it time and time again in Tiberian Dawn, where sometimes your best bet just is to do nothing. If you don't move, then you're not going to be triggering anything. If you don't trigger anything, then you probably don't have stuff like a convoy that'll eventually move out before you're ready to defend against it.
Reporting.
Construction options.
And then you got stupid stuff like what I'm doing, where I'm trying to destroy all the bridges. Because once again, you might as well take out the ability for the Soviets to move said nukes.
Affirmative.
At least on paths that aren't just,
Reporting.
fords or dirt roads.
Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Reporting. Yes, sir. Knowledge.
Training.
Waiting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Reporting.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready. Training.
Reporting. At once. Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Ready and waiting. At once. Yes, sir.
And remember how a few videos ago I mentioned that it's a good idea to build pillboxes rather than turrets?
Is under attack.
Knowledge. Knowledge.
Yeah, it might come up in this video.
Yes, sir. Knowledge. Yes, sir. Knowledge. Awaiting order. Knowledge. Knowledge. Vehicle reporting. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Knowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Reporting. Knowledge. Affirmative. Reporting. Knowledge.
Construction complete. Construction
Yes, sir.
options.
Knowledge. Yes, sir. Knowledge. Affirmative.
Unit
Knowledge.
lost.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Reporting, sir. Yes, sir. Knowledge. Knowledge.
Unit lost.
Ready and waiting. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Building. Building. Construction complete. Building.
Waiting orders. Reporting. Agreed. Agreed. Yes, sir.
It's hard to say that there's a sort of natural progression in these levels, just because of how varied they are. So while there's a lot of pressure that's applied to you,
Construction.
I can't really say this is like the toughest mission.
Deploy here. Building.
Awaiting orders.
Some of these get pretty close though.
Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged.
Building.
As always though, if you can spare it, always try to get more ore trucks.
Reporting. Reporting. Awaiting orders. Vehicle reporting.
Construction complete. Building. Training.
Ready and waiting. At one.
Construction complete. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Reporting. Reporting. Affirmative.
Building.
As always, Spy is pretty much your best friend.
Building.
I don't think we have the tech center unlocked yet again, so you need some method of getting some vision on the ground.
Very well. Affirmative. Ready and waiting.
Sometimes it's funny to see just how like aggressive units can be. We've seen it time and time again of units not having a single chance against, whatever they're trying to head up against, but
Cancel.
it's always worth a laugh.
Yes, sir. King and country.
Unit ready.
Reporting. Yes, sir.
Construction complete. Construction options.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Affirmative.
Unit
Yes, sir.
lost. Repairing.
Very well. Reporting.
Unit lost. Construction complete. Our base is under attack.
Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit repaired.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the Soviets really aren't messing around.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
You're basically always kept on your toes in this mission.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Cannot deploy here. Building. 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 Repairing.
The other issue too is that considering how much you have to spend just to get your base up and running and then having an actual defense, it does make it a little hard to get that nice smooth economy
Awaiting orders.
once all these initial fields are gone.
Unit
Reporting.
ready.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Like you'll always have, the various mine shafts to give you quite a bit of extra cash, but once the fields are done, you're traveling to the other side of the map basically.
Unit ready.
Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting.
Building.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Yeah, that's not the main base.
Building.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged.
Primary building selected. Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Awaiting order. Affirmative.
It seems that whatever cash issues we have is either already affecting the Soviets as well, or, pathfinding just makes it so that their harvesters are coming towards our side.
Mission saved.
Awaiting orders. Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Reporting. Reporting.
Building.
So, like any proper player should do, if you notice that the harvesters or war trucks, whatever, are coming towards a specific field,
Reporting.
your best bet is to just head it off at the pass.
Unit ready.
Vehicle report. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Awaiting knowledge. Acknowledge. Yes. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
It's always nice to have a good fallback position, though, just in case they send out a bunch of units to defend.
Affirmative.
Primary building selected.
Reporting.
Building.
Knowledge. Vehicle report. Affirmative.
Building. Unit ready.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Vehicle awaiting orders. Acknowledge. Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Construction
Affirmative.
complete. Cannot deploy here.
Reporting. Affirmative.
It should be mentioned, though, that with regards to Tesla tanks,
Knowledge.
they have a deceptively long reach.
Yes, sir.
You just don't always see it happen.
Awaiting orders. Yes, sir.
I don't want to say it's random as to when it occurs, but it's temperamental to say the least.
Vehicle yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Waiting orders.
It's sort of like the level with civilians that we had to evacuate.
Repair.
You kind of want to maybe invest a little bit on the water.
Insufficient funds. Insufficient funds.
Yes, sir.
Repair.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Construction
Vehicle
complete.
reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, sometimes helicopters are just so centered around attacking the same target over and over until it dies.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Building. Construction complete. Unit ready. Building.
Vehicle reporting. Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Construction complete. Mission saved. Mission loaded.
Yes, sir.
Oh look, the music mysteriously went away as if there might have been a loading that I didn't show.
Training
Surprise, surprise.
ready. Building.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Indeed. Commander, on my way. Indeed. Yes, sir.
So there's the reason why you want to have pillboxes rather than turrets. Turrets will absolutely miss those vehicles, especially if they're on the roads, because obviously the speed bonus. Technically, another way to combat it would be to build walls. Like the trucks can't get over, say, sandbags or barbed wire or concrete walls. But the problem with those is that, I mean, you're effectively locking yourself out. And since we destroyed the bridges, you're basically, like, your movement ability, like your frontage, your area of being able to move through a zone is just narrowed down so much that it's hard to do anything. You end up with a bottleneck all the time.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. On my way. Indeed. King and
Building infiltrated.
Vehicle reporting.
Not today, dog.
Yes, sir.
Not today.
Yes, sir.
Also, I don't know why those subs are in a second enemy color.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Reporting.
Just kind of strange, because I don't really think it needs to... Like, it's not really necessary, I guess.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Building. Insufficient funds.
Vehicle report. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, acknowledged. Affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledged. Vehicle acknowledged. Vehicle report. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, affirmative. Waiting order. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Building.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Technically, this area is, you know, ripe for engineer takeovers, but
Reporting.
just more of a more effort than really is wanted.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
I can't imagine you'd get parabombs or paratroopers either, so really, is it worth it?
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Unless I get those, added bonuses, I just kind of,
Acknowledged. Yes, affirmative. Vehicle.
refrain from capturing those buildings.
Acknowledged.
Especially since there's no way in hell they're giving me MiGs.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Reporting. Reporting. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, and if it wasn't obvious,
Yes, sir.
there's a good way of showing how far a Tesla tank reaches, and how much damage it does. Man, 2 shots and that power plant's almost dead.
Yes, sir.
But, yeah, you can kind of just go ahead and assume that those crates are nukes.
Yes, sir. Waiting orders. Vehicle affirmative.
Mission saved. Building.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Awaiting order. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Awaiting order.
ready.
Reporting. Yes, sir. Reporting. Acknowledged.
Building.
Awaiting order. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Vehicle affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes,
So we've already seen that at least one convoy truck will try to escape, and that's kind of the status quo for this mission. So it becomes kind of risky to ever make these sorts of pushes.
affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
Unit
Yes, sir.
ready.
Acknowledged.
While it seems that the Soviets do have, this one entrance to the side, it's
Ready.
Yes, sir.
maybe a little too presumptuous to think that it's the only one that they have.
Awaiting affirmative.
And on top of that, since we didn't take care or didn't capture the base on the top right end of the map, it also kind of means that you don't have any way to stop them if they go that route.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
I guess technically there's going to be an explanation for to the right is, I don't know, maybe it's already in the area of Soviet control, or there's more allies that way. I don't know.
Yes, acknowledged. Acknowledged. Awaiting order.
Oh, and you can imagine how useful it might be for a nuke to be placed just willy-nilly inside of a Soviet base. Like, I know at this point I don't need a lot of help to destroy this base, but, it's still appreciated.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Our base is under attack. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
So yeah, unless I missed it in the briefing, it's not really all that clear as to why the convoy trucks, or nuke trucks, or whatever, don't just exit out the top right or top of the map.
Waiting order. Acknowledged. Waiting order.
Insufficient funds.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit
Yes,
lost.
affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Building. Unit lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yeah, it's probably safe to say that a Tesla tank has just about the range of a V2 rocket, or V2 launcher.
Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Waiting order. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Be acknowledged. Yes, affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Waiting orders. Yes, affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yeah, I should probably bring those guys over here to massacre the rest of this base.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Not quite sure why I left them there.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
There we go.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, acknowledged. Vehicle reporting.
Unit
Yes, sir.
lost.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it turns out that, once again, one of my vehicles just happened to run into a nuke.
Waiting order. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
And I didn't want to run into it earlier because I had some pillboxes there and I'd rather not lose them.
Yes, sir. Waiting order.
I was actually really hoping that I would destroy the last of that, like that truck, but, well, oops.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
It's also interesting to see that they have two nuclear silos.
Affirmative.
One was destroyed in the blast. Kind of makes me wonder if there's a trigger, like, after an hour, do you just happen to get nuked? Or do you get nuked twice?
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Oh, and I don't know why that last convoy didn't drop anything. I can only imagine that because it seemed to be spawned from the buildings as they were being blown up, that
Yes, sir.
maybe there's something where those ones don't drop anything?
Acknowledged.
But that doesn't make sense, so
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
I'll just shrug and
Reporting vehicle.
pretend like it's all structured.
Yes, sir.
Naval
Acknowledged.
unit
Acknowledged.
lost. Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Naval
Yes, sir.
unit
Acknowledged.
lost.
Vehicle. Acknowledged.
Base
Acknowledged.
is under attack.
Vehicle permanent.
Building.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirm. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Building. On hold. Cancel.
Yes, sir. Waiting order. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
And as always, once you've done the actual major objective, it's just a cleanup period.
Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes. Acknowledged.
This is kind of why it's better to save the refinery for last, because you can get the ore truck to come back.
Yes, sir.
Rather than, say, the random units that are on the map that just decide to run away slightly. Like with that soldier up there. Like, somehow I missed him when I was playing, so
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
here I am, just... Oops.
Yes, sir.
Oh, there you go.
Acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
That poor, poor man.
Mission accomplished.